Namaste. I am Meenakshi, founder of Co-Creator Circle, and today we are on the 5th day of the 7 days of rest, when we resonate and we align with Gaia. In this series, we have been seeing Gaia as Mother Earth with all sentient and insentient beings. This is the way in which we experience the Earth from a slightly wider perspective, not just as a physical planet, but also as a consciousness. And it's a consciousness of everyone and everything that we can sense with our 5 senses and with our inner senses. So today I'd like to share some thoughts about Gaia, about oneness, unity, and maybe we are going to start with a being that you would not expect in this kind of a talk. So just sit as you are, or maybe you're walking as you're listening to this video. However you are, just be relaxed, be calm and attentive. And as always, begin by following your own breath. The breath is such a beautiful center that can always bring us back when thoughts are chaotic, when we are overwhelmed, or even when we are fearful, scared, or just very tired. It helps us to focus, but in a very relaxed way. Our breath is a very intimate part of us, perhaps the most intimate connection that we have to the wholeness of the physical world in which we live. And yet, it is also very personal, and it's something that we can connect with. We can either let it go automatically, or we can bring it under our control. And as we begin to breathe slowly, and that's why, as you'll see, I also talk slowly, we begin to relax. There is really no agenda, nothing really to do. There isn't even any need to listen. Maybe just listen to the voice, maybe listen to the words. And as you do, let this be a gentle thread that keeps bringing you back into the present moment. So what is the being that we're going to start today with? We're going to start with not just one, but a group of rattlesnakes. Can a group of rattlesnakes take us into the firmament of the universe? Let's start with this question, and it may seem like a very strange question to us. And let's think of a space in which a group of human beings come across a group of rattlesnakes. What is the first feeling? Maybe it's wonder, maybe it's excitement of one sort or the other. And I think for many it may be fear. I think it's also a connection of many of our emotions, our thoughts, our feelings, and also a little bit of wonder. Because just as birds flock together, as we say, birds of a feather flock together, so do rattlesnakes sometimes come together in a group. And recently, scientists have found a very fascinating thing. When a group of rattlesnakes are together, they become calmer. There's less possibility of them attacking. What do you think happens when humans are together? And for this also, when humans are together in a certain vibration, there is more calmness. they can be more harmonious with one another. And we are learning that our brain waves begin to synchronize. So if our brain waves are synchronizing, just think if you are in a crowd or in a group where everyone's brain waves or everyone's actions are how you would like to feel, how you would like to be. You're already in sync with everyone. But what if you would like to bring them to another vibration? We know that one person speaking from a podium can rile people up to riot, to stir up like a mob. But also one person speaking can change the whole vibration and help people to meditate, or maybe to look at one another, maybe to be peaceful with one another, maybe to sing together. But this is when we are using our speech. What if we are just using our brain waves? If we can be calm, and that is why we know that one person can change the vibration around. To do that, we make our own inner sense very strong. We get in touch with our breath, we get in touch with our emotions and our thought process, and we choose the thought to think. We choose the feeling to have. We begin to choose in a more active way what we would like to radiate out. Just try that next time when you're in a group. Because when our brain waves are calm and going either in alpha or in very deep gamma, these are the different ways in which we describe brain waves. Or if we are asleep and if we are in delta, these brain waves don't stay there. It's a wave. So it's not encapsulated in the head or even in the brain. They start radiating out and they affect people around us. I remember as a mom of a little baby, when I wanted her to sleep, I would lie down next to her and just begin to breathe very slowly. I would start breathing in a deeper way, slow and long breaths, and soon she would start breathing in the same way. So it's not only the brain waves, but also through our breath that we can start affecting people around us. Once I had a mother and a child. The son was 8 years old, and the mother was having a lot of problem relating to him. And so she came to me with wanting to bring peace between her and her son. And I told the son, you know what? Let's see if you can get your mother to breathe like you. And so he started playing around with different breaths. She started following the way he's breathing. And soon they started breathing harmoniously together. And she told me later that just that one session helped them to be more peaceful with one another. There are very simple ways in which we can influence and affect in a good way, in a beneficial way, the environment around us. Why are we saying in a beneficial way? Because if we are in this group, in this meeting, and if you're listening to this, I will just assume that you are a person who would like to spread and radiate peace and harmony into everyone, into yourself, into your near and dear ones, and into the larger world. So, if you see, we keep using the word we. We use the word we when we say the scientists, or when we say our hearts beat as one, or when we just say we synchronize. Each time, the we may refer to someone else. It may refer to different human beings. It may refer to even if we are with animals, because we can even affect our pets or animals around us in the way that we behave or in the way that we act. And maybe we are talking about the we as the scientists who are researching human behavior and who are sensing and studying in a scientific way what happens when we synchronize. So when we as human scientists, because now we are taking we in different ways, as human scientists, we are learning that when we as humans converse or share experiences, our brain waves synchronize. We also refers to rattlesnakes, which are largely found, as we know, in the Americas. And studies show that they become calmer in a group, less stressed, less likely to attack. Sometimes, as you're watching a video or you're watching a movie, have you seen this kind of synchrony? It happens so many times if you're just looking at that, or if you're just aware. A word comes to your mind and something that you're reading which has no relationship to what you may have been thinking, or something that somebody said, and or maybe you're watching a movie and in the movie the same word may come. So sometimes very interesting kinds of things happen. Sometimes you're listening to someone, maybe the person is a guru, a teacher, a wise person, a sage, and as you're listening, questions are coming in your mind, and then as they speak, those questions start getting answered. What a wonder synchronizing is, especially when we begin to be aware of it. When we become aware, this sense of wonder is the first sense that leads us to the inner sense, to the inner sense. Because as babies, when we are looking into the world, or as little babies, little children, everything seems wonderful, everything seems different, everything seems new. And that sense of wonder can connect us always with the sense that we have inside us. The more innocent our feeling is, the more we surrender to our own inner sense. And this we can come with wonder. Wonder is a very beautiful emotion, and also a beautiful word, because if you think of the World Wide Web of wonder, imagine how much it has opened up for us just as it has come. So as human beings increase their vibe, and as we meet in high consciousness sessions, we can synchronize beyond space, beyond time, even beyond the mode of communication. We have seen we can synchronize with our brain waves, which means with our thought and emotions. We can synchronize with our breath. We can synchronize with our movements, because sometimes as you start moving, people around you may start moving in similar ways. And we can synchronize with our breath. Isn't that how our universe exists? Why is it that the Webb telescope can show us stars? They can show us the universe. And what we are seeing is actually from a million light years away, which means that light from that star took 1,000,000 years to reach us. What we are seeing is actually the past. The past in the present. We are synchronizing with it as we speak. And maybe what our sun is giving out right now is going to be seen in the future by somebody else. So past, present, and future always synchronized in the now. There's just a wonder when you think about this. Very often people say, and recently someone asked me, I don't really get the concept of oneness. What is the meaning of oneness? I understand it in my mind, but I don't understand it really. And I said, what if you think of the breath? And I think we have done it in other sessions also. Just think of the breath and of the air that's coming in. Where was this air seconds before it reached you? Was there a plant who breathed it out? Was there someone else who was breathing out the air that you're breathing in? Filtered through your own, through the own nostril? And with the air, when we breathe it out, we are breathing out our feelings, we are breathing out our emotions, we are breathing out our thoughts. So in that sense, in a physical way, there is oneness. Another oneness, and this is how we started on 1st January 2026, because it's a 111 year. So oneness first can be, I'm alone as a person with a name and a role and a very physical presence, unique, very easy to define from someone else. And that is a beautiful sense of oneness. Very often in today's world, people say, think of yourself first. If you can't think of yourself, how will you look after others? And there are people who say, I'm here to serve. I want to do good for people. In another vibration, people may say, I'm sacrificing for my children. I'm sacrificing for people. And I asked my mother that once. I said, how come you never say that having us as your children has been a sacrifice? And she said, I've never thought of it as sacrifice. My mother was a lady of few words. But a few words that she spoke would open up windows in my consciousness, in my mind, in my soul. And I realized later that I could give some words to what she had told me. Sacrifice is when I feel I'm separate from you, when I feel that I have a limited amount of energy, of things, of something, and so when I give it to you, two things happen. One, I deprive myself, and two, I give it away so I no longer have it. But when I have another consciousness, then I know that when I give you, I receive from you a feeling of maybe just satisfaction, maybe not even gratitude, but I feel so grateful that I'm able to give this feeling of calmness, of satisfaction to someone else by a little action of mine. If my giving becomes a receiving, and there is no difference between giving and receiving, then that oneness becomes something different. Now it is no longer about two people. It is about an interaction that's taking place between two people. And so this becomes the second eye. This can be felt with people with whom we can feel love, with whom we can feel connection. So how do we feel oneness? We feel it when we have some form of connection. It's very important when we feel connection to have a very strong sense of your own center. So although we need not think of ourselves as separate and break off from everyone else, we can have the sense that I am centered in myself, and I therefore will know how much to give, when to give, whom to give, so that I am getting that feedback of how I feel. Our own feelings become the way in which we can understand that true oneness, and not just the sense of hurting myself to give to someone else, because in the long run that does not help the giver or the receiver. There is pain in the giving, then there's pain in the receiving. There's love in the giving, there's love in the receiving, and then it becomes like a loop that goes on and on giving to both. And then I can feel I'm one with this planet. If somebody comes from another planet, or even let's say We can start with family. If someone comes from another family, I will feel more connected with doing good for my family. If someone comes from another country, if someone comes from another universe or another planet, I'll start feeling, oh, I'm from Earth. At that moment, I will not feel I am just me. I will see myself as the oneness that we are. So that sense of oneness in all of us keeps changing, and we keep growing that sense of oneness depending on the situation. When we have the sense of oneness, it is very easy to have the sense of synchronizing with one another. And synchronizing is a powerful force that helps many miracles to manifest. There is a saying by Cluckhorn and Murray: every person is in some ways like all other people, in some ways like some other people, and in some ways like no other person. And I'm paraphrasing their words, and I don't think I have to explain them because I think they are self-explanatory. We have the same body structure. We have the same functions. We breathe one another's air. We learn from one another. We feel for one another. We feel one another's feelings. We interact with one another. We care for one another. We can sense one another's thoughts. We can share one another's experience. We feel one another's pain and happiness as our pain and happiness. We exist in the same universe. We share DNA. We share a common destiny with Gaia. How do we co-create a world that benefits all? By first knowing these different layers of oneness. So let's just take a moment now and take a few breaths, just feeling within ourselves. How strong do I feel in the oneness of the one being that I am, the one that I can name, the one who is uniquely me, the only one who lives with me my entire life, the one who knows many things that others don't know about me. And now, let's take another breath and feel I am one with all humans. I am one with my family, with my near and dear ones, because we share a common destiny, maybe a common home, maybe common religions, cultures, ways of being, ways of behaving, maybe ways of talking, look like one another, share names. So many ways we are interconnected with many people and things and animals and beings. And then let's take another breath and take this as the breath of oneness with all on Mother Earth. And with this sense, we start radiating unconditional love. Unconditional love is not just a feeling, it is actually a state of being. And that beingness comes when we begin to feel the sense of oneness, the sense of the center which is strong, but the boundaries which are infinite. Where does my thought end and another's thought begin? Where do my emotions end and another's emotions begin? It keeps expanding out. Our auras can keep expanding out. And this state of just being in this way, we start radiating unconditional love. As we know, you are invited to make this sense of unconditional love a simple daily practice. At 9:09 a.m. or 9:09 p.m., whatever suits you. Pause for a moment. Align with others doing the same at the same time. Start with the intention that there is this global call and I will join it. I will answer this global call. Feel the pure, radiant smile of a newborn. Just feel it emerging in your heart till it comes on your face. Very real, very innocent, very serene. And gently release the intention to return to this practice each day. When we have an intention, we don't need to hold it. We need to feel it, acknowledge it, and then release it. And when you release it, at the right time, you are called to just be in loving gratitude, in the feeling of unconditional love. You will begin to answer this call without making an effort. Everything around you will come to a stillness. Even if you're in an office, maybe you're in public transport, maybe you're driving, maybe you're with many people. If you're driving, you will not be closing your eyes. You'll start seeing that you can be here and there at the same time, because it's really just a consciousness, just a feeling. Maybe it's just words you say to yourself. I'm with everyone, and everyone around me is in loving gratitude, is in unconditional love. Maybe you just say these words to yourself. This moment when we are all connecting with one another, we are not just sensing and feeling, we are creating. We are co-creating. Together, we are co-creating a vibration of unconditional love in a way that is not intellectual, that is not something we need to understand or even define. It is just something you will begin to feel. Maybe it will be like not feeling anything, but feeling serenity. Only you can know, and you will know when you reach this state. You will start sending beneficial energies to yourself and to everyone around you, who are physically around you, everyone who is in your heart, and it will start radiating out into the universe. Isn't this why we have come into the planet at this time? We have come into a world to co-create. Let's co-create a world that benefits all. A world where all may thrive. Let's do this every day as a daily practice, as it's called 9:09, the Gaia minute. And that minute is not defined by the clock. The 9:09 is defined by the clock in your time zone. But the minute can be seconds, moments, an hour, because whatever calls to you will happen. You will begin to sense, you will begin to understand, you will begin to get messages of who is calling out to you. And since you are in the state of unconditional love, that call will be just answered with love. There is nothing else that we need to do. Just that serene smile and the sense of unconditional love. Let's co-create a world where all may thrive. And let's end, as we always do, with the gratitude lotus exercise. Coming together with our hearts and our hands in front of our heart. We begin today to open our fingers, just feeling what we are grateful for as the petals of a lotus open. When we do this, synchronizing with one another, just the act of this opening is going to bring a beautiful feeling. So we're going to do it together now. without talking. First starting, I'll just tell you what we're doing and then you do it yourself. Starting with our hands in front of our chest, the heart chakra, with our palms joint in prayer position. Then we start opening our fingers, and when all are opened, the little finger and the thumbs continue to be joined, the palms continue to be joined. And in this lotus mudra in front of our hearts, we receive and we absorb. Then we open our hands and we begin to bless. We extend our arms wide. We bring them back into an embrace of the self, feeling the embrace of the word, and come back into the centeredness of the palms together. I'll play a sound which I hope you can hear, and as I play it, please do the gratitude lotus exercise on your own. Thank you.